Hey guys, welcome back to RevHp. This is Chris, and today we are back with the part 2 of our Powertronic install video. As I told you, we are going to verify the connections and just show you how to go about with the Quickshifter and the map switch as well. So yeah, let's get on with it. So yeah guys, the first step would be removing the seats, as we have done already. It's gonna be like with you guys, it all should be in one shot, as you would already have these panels opened when you're installing the Powertronic unit. Those are the connectors which I've showed in part 1. But yeah, so then you would have to find a suitable spot for the map switch, which I did right over here. It's just 2 Phillips head screws, which it's pretty easy. Just find a nice place for you to be able to switch the maps. For me, it's on the left side, so yeah, that's quite nice. After that, just make sure this cable doesn't get stuck on anything, and make sure the handlebar turns like properly from lock to lock, left to right. And I've routed it underneath the tank. It's not the best job, I could have done better, but it's what I've done currently. It works. Yeah, and I brought it underneath the tank. It's gonna have a coupler something like this, and the other side, the Powertronics harness side, it's gonna be like this. So yeah, you're gonna have this label saying disconnected map 1, connected map 2. So that's basically this thing. That's what the switch does. So just take it and connect it like so. It's gonna be pretty easy. You're gonna hear the click. And luckily the 650 has a lot of places where you can shove this extra wires and harness into. That's really good. But yeah, that's the first step done. Second step, unfortunately, like I've already done it, that is installing the Quickshifter. We're gonna have a similar wire coming down, and it's gonna have a label saying QS or Quickshifter, and it's gonna have a 2-pin connector, basically like a similar to this coupler over there. And yeah, if I can find a picture on the internet, I'm just gonna post it in the video right over here. So yeah, you don't connect it at first. Remove all these panels and take the sensor. It's going to be different for different bikes, but for mine it was like this. It comes with 2 washers on each side of the sensor. Just run the bolt through the sensor, I mean. And yeah, it's a sort of a through-hole piezoelectric sensor. And start tightening the bolt. You're going to be provided with one from the Powertronic guys as well, but yeah, just tighten it and hand tighten it until you feel resistance, and you can't tighten it no more. And at that point, once you feel resistance, take your wrench or ring span or whatever and tighten it to just a quarter turn. That's tight enough, because they recommend you only tighten it to around 5 to 6 Newton meters. If you tighten it more, the sensor might not work, or it could even break altogether. It could crack. I've heard a lot of cases like that, where the sensor cracks and there's no warranty on it. Obviously these guys knew what they were doing, and they charged like 13,000 for just the sensor, which is outrageous to be honest, but it's yeah, it's what we got. So once you connect this, please be very careful while tightening it. So once you do this, there's going to be a 2-pin coupler, as I said before. Connect it. That part should be done. Just you can close up the panels. Oh yeah, one more thing would be the coupler. Unfortunately, it's water can seep in through the connectors, even though they claim it to be waterproof while you're washing the bike. So I would suggest you guys tape the connector up with some isolation tape on both ends and on the connector as well, because you usually wouldn't have to remove it or replace it. It lasts for quite some time. It's going to be fine. So after that part is done, you're pretty much done with the wiring part of it. At this point, you're going to be provided with one of these stock coupler units, and that's to verify your connection. So just plug it in like so, and then as you can see, there's injector power, spark power, CKP, which is crank position sensor, and TPS, throttle position sensor. These other lights are for your injector signals and spark signals. They should be blinking based on your firing order. Similar to that, it's gonna blink. So first things first, keep the kill switch on, and then once you turn it on, these lights should go on, the spark and the injector one. So just the green ones. So there you can see it has turned on, and then CKP and these other 4 lights are going to turn on only once you start the bike. But the TPS, if you see right over here, if you move the throttle, it should light up. So as you can see right over here, my TPS is lighting up, so that part's good. At this point I would say just start the bike. If all's good, these other ones should light up as well. So yeah, as you can see, the injector power and the injector signal lights and the spark signal lights are blinking according to the firing order of the bike. The CKP is on as well, and these two are on as well. The TPS and the CKP should be a bit more bright once you rev it a bit, as you can see right now. So this tells you, so yeah guys, this tells you that your wiring is perfect. There are no issues over here. And at this point you can remove this unit and connect the Powertronic one. I'm just gonna get it and I'll see you in a bit. So yeah guys, after you have verified all your connections through the stock coupler, remove it and go ahead and install your Powertronic unit like so, and go ahead and connect the appropriate USB cable to your unit right here. It would be really helpful if you have someone around at this point to help you with stuff like the calibration and the Quickshifter adjustment as well. So from here on, it's all going to be, well, mostly it's going to be on the laptop. So I'm going to switch over to my phone footage to capture this part better. Okay guys, so I've connected the USB cable to my laptop and I've switched over to the phone to capture this footage better. So after you have connected it, just go ahead and refresh this and then press connect. Okay, so it says connected. At this point I would say you should go ahead on the Powertronic website. Under downloads you can find a lot of maps. So whatever bike you have, go ahead and download that map. Mine is a 650, so I can go here, files, open, and then I go to downloads, and that's the map I require, a Ninja 650R 2012 to 2018. So just go ahead and open it. So there you go, the values are automatically going to be populated for the fueling tables and the ignition tables. If you do not have extensive knowledge about tuning, I wouldn't suggest you change these values. I would say these values aren't really particularly going to give you a lot of power. It's just a smooth map, and it goes up to 5 degrees of timing advance, which would give you some sort of gains, no doubt, but it's not like pushing the envelope. So yeah, just don't mess around with this. It's a very safe map. Yeah, and after I've done this part, I would suggest you to go to the config tab. Okay guys, once you've reached the config tab, you can start the calibration. Today I have Vegans with me, so he's gonna do that part and he's gonna show you all how to do it. Yeah, so first things first, just go ahead and start the bike. And then you can press auto calibrate. First you'll have to let it idle, and then after that the second step would be rotating the throttle from 0 to 100% twice. So just hit it. As you can see, it says start and let it idle. After this we can do the throttle part, like so, and it will give you the minimum and maximum values right over here. So just if you want to verify that, you can roll on the throttle a bit. It's going to show you the throttle percentages right over here. So as you can see, yeah, there you go. It's going to move along with your throttle position. Just press OK, and at this point the calibration is done. You can just go ahead and go over here, just press send, and it's going to say sending data to ECU. Okay, so it says send data to ECU over there. At this point, make sure the bike is completely off. Turn the key off as well. It's just a bit safer. And go ahead and press burn. Do not press lock and burn. That's just basically locking the tune so that no one else can access it in the future. For that you'll have to do a complete tune from scratch if someone wants to change anything over there. But after you've sent it, just press burn. It's going to tell you as well, please shut off the vehicle, and so proceed. It's going to take some time. Usually a couple of seconds, but it can take up to a minute or two as well. It's just, yeah, sometimes it does that. As you can see right there, burn to ECU is successful. So yeah guys, at this point the Quickshifter isn't activated, but the bike is safe to ride in case you want to do a test drive or anything like that. But yeah, that part is done. So moving on, let me show you how to do the Quickshifter as well. So go to the Quickshifter tab. It's going to look something like this. So quick shift activation, you should always, trust me, you should always select positive trigger, and I mean this one doesn't matter, sorry, quick shift activation doesn't really make that much of a difference. I'm not quite sure what the other thing does, but keep it on positive trigger. And quick shifter output type, it should, this is the part where it should always be ignition only. That means it's still going to dump fuel, but it's going to cut the ignition. Yeah, and so there's this option saying quick shift sensor trigger. That's when the sensor would actually cut off the spark, at which value, I mean at the value it's going to cut off the spark. And quick shift TPS is the percentage at which it's going to be active. So I usually set it at 5%, but that's up to you. Quick shift sleep time, just leave it to 500 milliseconds, don't worry about that. So at this point you got to find out what the quick shift value actually is. So just find a friend, for me it's Egan's over here, and ask him to actually try and just shift up the gears. Don't have to turn on the bike, but just make sure the kill switch is on the on position and the key is on as well. No need to turn it on actually. So just ask your friend to shift up, just press on the lever, and at that point it's going to give you a value over here. For me it's like 106. That's the value up to which the sensor goes, and it usually hovers at around let's say 21 for me. Sometimes it changes once the engine is on, so just to verify that, you can turn the engine on as well, which we are going to do right about now. So as you can see, it's around 21, 22. Rev it a bit as well to check. So yeah, 21, 22, that's the value it sits at. As you can see, sometimes there are spikes, but that's because it's a piezoelectric sensor, it detects pressure. So don't worry about that. And as you can see, 106. I wouldn't suggest you put it at 106 because that's going to be way too hard to shift. Put it at around, as you can see, it's at 60 already, which is quite alright actually. That means the shifter is going to be active once you tap on it. As it goes to up to 106, 60 is below that, it's going to be activated. If you feel like there are like false activations and all, just increase this number, decrease the sensitivity, I mean. And if you think the shifter is still too hard, you can decrease this number. And that part is done at this point. But the last thing would be adjusting the kill times right over here. That's telling the Powertronic unit to cut off the ignition for that many amount of seconds. Right now it's all 0. It's different for most bikes, but I would suggest you get these times from Powertronic themselves. Just contact them and ask them what times are best for your bike. Yeah, I would say that's the best thing. We have our timings, but that's with a lot of experiment, and I can't say that it's going to work for everyone, so we are not really going to show that. So yeah, at this point I'm just going to try and add our values, and I'll get right back. So yeah guys, I've added the timings, the kill times for this bike, and at this point I've sent and burnt it as well. So just disconnect it right over here and just shut the laptop at this point and disconnect the Powertronic unit from your PC, and you can just leave the bike on the paddock and test it out if the Quickshifter is actually working. So my activation percentage is like at 5%. Just pull the throttle and shift through the gears. You don't have to pull in the clutch or roll back on the throttle or anything like that. Directly pull the throttle and try shifting it. Eguns is going to try that for us. You can how you know it's working is that you can easily shift, and also you can hear it in the sound of the bike. The RPMs are going to drop, but it's going to be different to like a clutchless upshift. So yeah, let's go ahead and try and listen for that. So as you can see, we were able to hear that quick change of RPM, the drop of RPM, and the shifts as well. So at this point, you know that everything is working. You can make changes here and there. If you have any questions about the Quickshifter settings, you can go ahead and ask us in the comments as well. We are always happy to help. So once that part is done, just find a suitable place to route your cables through. Usually the Powertronic goes underneath over here, so you can just do that as well. Just run the cable through this, and yeah, connect it. Yes, just go ahead. If you have any Velcro, it would be really good to just strap it down, to Velcro it down to the chassis over here underneath the back seat. But the moment zip ties are all we have. Also don't forget to close this USB port with the rubber part which they give you. Yeah, and at this point you can close the bike, close the seat, and just go for a ride. The map switch is also installed. It's just gonna work like this. Just switch through map 1 or map 2. And there you go. That's pretty much it for the Powertronic install with the Quickshifter and map switch. Yeah guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for all your support on our previous videos as well. We really appreciate it. Yeah, do keep up the great work. Please subscribe, share, like. It means a lot to us. Thank you. Chris from RevHp signing out.